Did those people know, as at the time they were registering, that their data was effective?
Oh, sure, they did. That was why it was on the biometric, on the addendum register. That was why we made the announcement to say everybody whose name is on the addendum register, they voted in 2011.
What exactly causes data to be defective? What do you mean by defective data?
For some, they were supposed to have their 10 fingerprints captured. Some had 8, 6. That was defective.
But what about those who actually came for the verification? They saw their names on that particular register just a couple of days to the election. Getting there on election day, it disappeared.
That's not true. But let me say that
not from 10, not from 15, not from 30 people, and that's been the complaint. Are we saying they all colluded to
you see, that's
INEC?
Well, you see, the commission is interrogating everything.
Isn't it possible, for instance, your EO who is with the police now talking, that we still have some people who were able to alter the voter register, because it looks to a lot of people that is how Reagan starts, by disenfranchising some people.
You see, like I said, the commission is interrogating even that. It's not being swept aside. It's not being ignored. I mean, it's not being ruled out. But you see, a large portion of those claims, because there is also a lot of partisan motivations to these things.
Because these are actually dangerous times for INEC. Once in 2010 to 11, we saw the overwhelming support the commission had, to the extent that everyone wanted the government or the people of the nation to give every support whatsoever for the commission in order for it to conduct a free, fair, credible election. But with what they just saw in Anambra State, people are speaking from all over the country, casting doubt as to the capability of INEC to conduct future elections, specifically the 2015 elections.
Well, you see, that's why I said there's always a challenge with sweeping generalizations. If you look at the challenge is for us to disaggregate what were the issues in Anambra elections, because when people
those are issues we've been talking about. Register, voter register.
The issue of register, for instance, that issue will not arise in 2015, and I'll tell you why. We will be issuing the permanent voter cards, and for you to be able to get your card, your data must have been in the register. Otherwise, you will not get the card.
So what about the aggregating software?
Your data,
what about the aggregating software? That will not come into play?
Sorry?
The aggregating software that cuts down people's age, that will not come into play?
No, we've adjusted that, and we explained it to the people in Oka. That's why they were given the same register that they were given a month before the election. Was the same register that they were given on Wednesday preceding the election, with the explanation that that adjustment in the age was done.
Mr. Edo, we were still back to the question of people seeing that register that they were given before the election, and then coming on election, they are not finding their names in the register.
That's I did say
how did that work?
I did say that would be interrogated, but the chances are that a large proportion of that claim.
Is it possible that some of your officials, more than the person who is in custody now, have been were compromised in Anambra State?
You see, again, let's be careful about making sweeping generalizations.
I said, is it possible?
Because I know it's a tough position to be. Once this thing happens, everybody else falls under suspicion.
You know what?
But there are people of integrity in this.
We had a guest who just left here.
Institution.
We had a guest who just left here who talked about Idemili North, for instance.
Yeah.
How all the officials of INEC that were posted to Idemili North were specifically placed there to disrupt the election or to ruin it. But they are officials of INEC posted by INEC. So is it possible that more than one person...
How did you know they were posted there to disrupt or ruin the election?
The question, Mr. Edo, is it possible that more than one person, one of your officials, was compromised in this election?
I do know that the people that handle the elections in Anambra State are people of high integrity. But like they said, one bad apple spoils the basket. So when you have a situation where, for whatever reason, one person appears to have compromised the system, of course, people fall under suspicion, but people who were on ground to conduct elections in Anambra State were absolutely integrity. And let me tell you, more than 60% of the people who are there were not permanent INEC staff. Don't forget.
So let us also ask, how much influence do political parties have in terms of the supervising officers and the electoral officers that are sent by INEC to a certain area?
They're not supposed to have any.
They're not supposed to have any, because the guest who just left here, and I told him that what he said was very disturbing, you know, was trying to make insinuations that because some people were from a particular ethnic group and they were sent to a particular stronghold of a party or of a candidate, you know, automatically they were compromised. In fact, according to from what he seemed to be insinuating, they were sent there on purpose.
You see, you know why that is not true. That's why I said a lot of these things are also informed by partisan sentiments. NYSC posted their staff there. People who served in that area were serving, doing their service here in that area.
He said they were not coppers.
No, our POs were coppers. Our POs, or the polling officials, I'm not talking of the EU now, the polling officials are coppers. They were posted there, and we collaborated with them. Are you saying that those guys were posted by NYC for partisan motives? So these comments are informed by prejudiced perception.
It's just important that INEC clarifies that, because I mean, if other parties, or if a party can even insinuate that, then one has to ask, how much influence really do candidates or political parties have on the people that INEC sends to particular areas to conduct elections?
Yeah.
And not just because of this particular one, but for subsequent elections.
I agree. That's why I said the commission uses ad hoc staff. Let me tell you,
which you really don't have any control over, right?
Let me even tell you, a large portion of coalition officers for this election were drawn from crossover states. They were not even from Anambra. A large portion, if not all, the coalition officers for these elections were drawn from the...
Are you talking about the coppers that were drawn in, or are you talking about your member of staff?
I've spoken about coppers. Coppers were there on their service, doing on service here. And they were not posted there. Of course, they were posted there because they were not from that area in the first place. That's the basis on which NYC posts its listers. Now, even coalition officers were drawn from another state, and so when these claims are made, they are not. They don't reflect the truth. They don't reflect the truth of what is the case. The commission makes sure. Why do we have recs and national commissioners coming from all over the place? You could simply have said what the rec or one national commissioner should, but in order to make sure that there is, I mean, you disperse the interests if there was any. You bring people from all over the place to supervise and oversee what is going on, and they are overseeing largely people who do not come from the place. So there is really no basis to say that some people were posted to serve a particular partisan interest. There's no basis for that.
Well, anyway, Pt.2, when has a date been released for the supplementary elections?
No, the commission will meet to fix a date. Okay. What is happening now is that the commission is going to, because like I said, we take the report serious. It's not going to sweep it aside.
All right,
it's a challenge, and so it will be interrogated. They're supposed to be interrogated. That we are doing by tomorrow.
All right.
When all those reports are interrogated, the field officers will report back. Then the commission will meet and fix a date.
Well, Pt.2, Chief Press Secretary to INEC Chairman, many thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Well, Sunrise Daily takes a moment now. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.